All right. This is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals. It is June 1. We have in front of us one public hearing and two workshops. Tonight we have Aaron Wolf, John Martin, Allison Antoine, Elliot Hammond, and Grant Gunder, Chairman of the ZBA. And the first case in front of us is Jonathan Krupp, as represented by Richard Krupp, Richard Krupp as represented by Beth Ziegler. And they've already gone through workshop, and so this is their public hearing. Beth, explain what's going on.
Oh, do you need these? There's one that was returned, but the letter, but I couldn't deliver it. It's 40 Market Street. I'm not necessarily sure it's occupied.
That's the one on the corner?
Yeah.
Yeah, people have been in and out of there.
Yeah, so you're right. I mean, the main thing is you made the attempt, and
Yeah, that's all that counts.
Okay. So we're proposing to make minor changes to 3 structures, existing structures on the property at Market Street. They're all in the front yard setback, either wholly or partially in the front yard setback. They all predate the existing zoning code. The building inspector has also identified that we need a side yard variance. I believe we meet the requirements for the side yard as per 134-9. It says the minimum required for the side yards is one has to be 5 feet and the total of both 10. We have 133 feet to the south and 1'6" to the north side. So we meet the 5 yard requirement on the south, and we definitely exceed 10 feet overall. So I think that we meet that requirement without needing a variance.
This is where there's a discrepancy between
The
Bill's
building-
interpretation
yes.
of
Yes.
the code and
And
I tell you, I read it the same way you do.
yes.
I read it the same way. I mean, I read it such that one side yard has to be 5 feet, and the combined of the two has to be a total of 10 feet.
Yeah, and
So
They
I
go out of
think-
their way, for example, in R1, to say each
Right.
side yard. And this one goes out of its way to say one.
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 Right.
Not each.
That's
So
right.
That's
Yeah.
how we both read it the same way as well.
Yeah.
So there's no disagreement on anything.
I shared your exchange with Bill with these guys, so they could,
Okay.
you know, just review it, see where that.
What's your
was
take
going.
on that, Aaron?
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so that, you know, as far as we're concerned, does not require a variance.
Okay. So the scope of work for the property, I'll just break it down between the existing 3 buildings that were being worked on. Number 29 is a garage. It was originally a garage for Smith Oil, and the owners want to return it to the use of a garage. It will, provide 3 off-street parking spots. There's no change to the footprint or the height. We will need to regrade this area here for vehicular access, since there was a slab poured in here, and so there's a sort of a 4-inch bump up. So there will be some regrading of this asphalt here. Number 31 is the guest house. It's right on the back of the garage, and it's very hard to see from the street. It shares a wall with the garage. It has approximately 135 square feet of it in the front yard setback. And what we're proposing to do is not change the footprint of it at all, but raise the knee wall on the 2nd floor, which is currently around 3 feet or so, to 6 feet. So raise it 2 feet 9 inches so that you can occupy all of the 2nd floor. So the overall building would be raised by 2 feet 9 inches. The slope of the roof will remain the same.
And it's still under 35 feet.
And it's at least around 10 feet under 35 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's around 27 something.
Yeah.
The most extensive work is on the cottage, which is number 35. And we don't know when it was built. It's a very old historic structure, and judging by the brick nogging between the studs, we think it predates, 1900. It's in very bad shape, so we are proposing to restore it. A lot of repairs have been done at some point around the foundation, which just really accelerated the deterioration of the foundation. So what we're proposing to do is, again, to raise the knee wall height 2 feet in this case, so you can occupy the second floor of the cottage. The overall height of the building, will increase by 2 feet. It will will maintain the roof slope. We're proposing to put a small addition on the back of the cottage. It's approximately 100 square feet. It's not you can't view it from the street, you can't view it from the chapel, you can't view it from the river, so it's tucked in. You can't see it from any public thoroughfare. The historic facade of the cottage will be maintained, and we feel that this cottage is sort of at a critical point. If it's not repaired and renovated at this point, we think that the village will lose this sort of prominent, small but prominent historic structure. Other work to the site is an arbor which connects all 4 of the buildings. The main house is not being renovated. And then there's a fence. It follows the property line and then goes behind this rock outcropping. And that's.
And the fence is
real
gonna be
stuff.
about 4 feet,
The,
so.
the
6 feet.
fence will be 4 feet.
4 feet,
Yes.
okay.
4 feet, yeah, you
Yeah.
can't go 6. The arbor's not, it's an open arbor.
It's an open arbor.
Trellises across the
Do
top,
you
like,
want to
okay.
turn the thing around so you can see the arbor?
So these are some of the landscape architect did some images of this. So here you can see, this is the entrance to the main house. It has the roof is kind of faceted. So each of these arbors going to plug into that and then wrap around the courtyard. But you can see through it. I don't know. Can you see that from there?
Yeah.
No, they got it on here. They got it on
I think
here.
it's
It's on
It's
here.
also on
page
the-
2 on here. Yeah.
So all this stuff about 1 by 6, it's more, never mind, it's 4 foot high, 1 by 6. I was thinking
So here's
6
the,
feet. Right, yeah, yeah,
the fence
okay.
is going to look
Yeah, I
something
got
like
it, I
this
got
down
it.
here.
Yeah,
Open slab.
nice.
Yeah. We just want to have the pictures. Oh, yes, we do.
We do have it.
I just have to unroll it a little further.
Just gotta roll them more.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not an enclosed thing, this is just,
Right.
it is-
Yes.
and it's not really, doesn't even provide any protection, frankly, to go from one building to another. It's just a way of unifying,
Unifying the
4 buildings that were
property,
built
yeah.
at completely different times. It's just an aesthetic connector, really.
And so basically this whole U shape around the courtyard, including the cottage, is all arboresque.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
So this L here, and that straight bar, that's all
Right.
arbor.
It's all arbor.
Yeah.
There are some steps associated with it, like there's a significant change of grade from, it's currently a driveway, which won't be used primarily for that, and the guest house. So there are steps going up there with retaining walls intermittently, and then there's a couple of steps going from there down to the grade. This slopes, is a compound slope, so it slopes down this way as well as down that direction. So the steps will make the transition from those 2 levels.
So it's at a very high level, there's 3 basic areas of construction. The back of the house, the arbor. I mean, I'm thinking in terms of new construction.
New.
New construction is the back of the cottage,
Mhm.
Yes.
the arbor,
Mhm.
and then
That's.
I don't see that's it.
And the guest
Building
house,
back.
and the guest house.
Has to go in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So the garage,
The elevation of the guest house, you're saying?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, well,
Right.
Right,
Got it,
so
got
it's.
it.
I mean,
Frontage.
the guest house, again, there's just this one, essentially 6-foot wide strip.
Right.
It's really of concern to you, because the rest of it is outside of that front yard setback.
right,
But the cottage is wholly
In
in
the
the front yard
setback,
setback.
right.
yeah,
But in that case, I mean, the great thing about this is that what you're proposing to build is not visible from
The back,
outside at
that's right,
all.
that's right.
And the existing cottage is already in the setback and has,
Right.
you know, it's been there forever, so.
So it don't fall down when you start construction.
Right.
Like Hartford.
That's what shoring is for, but, you know, we're still in negotiation with the historic district review board to figure out how we're gonna go about doing that, and we've just started that conversation. But that'll be,
Mm.
Because you gotta deal with the foundation, that's a
Yep.
bigger issue.
that's right.
Yeah, that's.
It's very interesting construction, very non-standard.
you,
I have no.
you have no comment?
I have no, I don't think I'm.
What's,
When was the last time we had something like this good and?
Yeah.
about the
Perfect.
last time they were here and they had the 3D model?
That was great.
I wasn't here.
You weren't, yeah,
I wasn't here.
Elliot hadn't rejoined us yet.
No, I mean,
Great.
everything seems to be.
I'm curious about the change in the driveway to the garage. Is, there's no sidewalk there now, but that would be a good place for a sidewalk at some point in the future. Would
I don't think you can put a sidewalk
driveway
there.
be
No,
compatible
there's not any
with,
room for it.
with that?
The driveway would be compatible with that, I'm not so sure about.
There's no sidewalk,
There's no sidewalk on that
there's
side
never
of
been a
the.
sidewalk there.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
there's no
You
sidewalk there
can't,
now. but it
no,
would be a
the
good
sidewalk
place to-
ends at the
This-
property before them. I don't think you could put a sidewalk there, because if you did, you'd have a hell of a time getting in and out of the garage.
Yeah, unless
If
the
they
side-
slope it properly,
if they
That's,
side road-
that's my question to
Yeah.
them, is if it's compatible with the future sidewalk.
I think it would be, right?
I think, unless the sidewalk has to be level, I don't know that it does. I mean, I think that you can transverse in front of the garage. The issue is that, you know, it would be
It's a big slope.
retaining this down here, but that's kind of a.
you know, the
different
farthest
discussion.
sidewalk could go would be to the cottage, because if you try to put a sidewalk all the way down the street, you're gonna narrow the street by 8 feet. So it's a
Well,
mute.
there, it's slightly, it's sloped a little bit there, but that's village, the property doesn't go right up to the road. That's village
That's right.
property.
That's
there.
right.
So
But
there
it is
village
pretty
property.
steep. I mean,
It's
there's a
pretty-
lot.
It is quite steep, yeah.
It is.
So what you'd have to go through and figure out, first of all, you'd have to move utility poles and power poles, which is another thing, and then you'd also have to
Are there
do a
poles there?
retaining wall, yeah. So it's I think that's in the future, but
Sure.
I don't think, to answer your question, I don't think that driveway would be incompatible with doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, there's a retaining wall right
There is an existing
there.
driveway there now, and it has been used as a garage for,
Well, I think when he built it, he did the change. He sloped it up, because that
To preserve the house, yeah.
when that was a garage, there were oil trucks that were backed in there,
Mhm.
and they were, it wasn't like that, it was like, more like that.
Right.
When Downey renovated it, he did he didn't want anybody parking there.
Oh.
That's why he did, I did a lot of work in there, so I know
oh,
what
I
he
see.
did.
Okay.
That's why he raised it the way he didn't want no parking there. He wanted the people to park on the side and in the back.
Mhm.
What would the post
So you're gonna bring it
office
back to where it used to be. Yeah. I don't see anything.
I mean, the other question, would there be a need that you would see in the future for a sidewalk? I mean, there's just one property there, although Loretto is the nationalist area.
It's an odd street if you're walking from Maine. The sidewalk is on the west side, then it switches to the east side, and then it switches, then it kind of disappears before you get to places you might want to walk to, like the chapel or the train station.
But
Yeah, well, there's a
there is
sidewalk on the other side.
There's a sidewalk,
there.
there's a
All
sidewalk
the
all
way
the way
to
to the
Metro
Metro
North.
North stop.
Right,
Um,
and that's the sidewalk that I use, is that one on the east side of the market.
maybe they're,
I don't think you can put a sidewalk on the other side because you narrow the street.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have the right width of a street.
I mean, yeah, the fact is now that if people are parked on the east side, you
Which they
can't,
do.
which they do.
You can't actually,
even-
two cars can't pass.
You can't,
Exactly.
exactly. You
Exactly.
build a sidewalk there, there'd be no passage at all, it's even tighter.
Anybody have another question?
I got no more questions.
So, just to be clear,
Good.
yeah, just to be clear, I wanna go through your conformance worksheet. Because I don't know if it's the best way to write a decision, but when we write a decision, we say, okay, this is proposed, this is existing, and you're requesting, you know, it's A plus B requesting C, or
Mhm.
some version of that. So for example, we'll start with garage, front yard, existing 0, proposed 0, allowed 40. You're requesting a 40-foot setback,
40-foot variance.
a 40-foot
Variance.
I'm not
variance.
sure that the garage we need any sort of variance for, because we're not doing, it's pre-existing, we're not doing anything
Right.
To
to
it?
it.
Okay.
Nothing to the exterior of the building.
Okay.
Nothing to the footprint, the height.
All right, so you're listing, okay, I'm back in Too Deep Square world,
Um,
where we were.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
just because
We're
it's, yeah.
getting a clean for,
You're
okay,
just changing the use in part,
yeah.
use from actual residential to garage.
Back to commercial.
space, so-
Right.
Or garage.
Yes.
So, and that's-
So.
And you don't need the total 10 size, which is already, they meet that.
Yeah, it's all.
Yeah, that's,
I
so
don't
it's
know,
guest,
yeah.
okay, so I need to focus on guest house.
Yeah,
Sorry.
focus
There you
on
go.
30 more.
There we go, focus
Guest
on the
house.
guest house.
They got front yard 35.
Focus on the guest house. So guest house, front yard is 35, 35, allowed is 40. So are you requesting a 5-foot variance for the guest house?
Well, it's at a slant, so it's, you know. and I
The
have-
existing is there.
So
It's
it's
35.
8 feet on one side and 6 feet on one side, so this actually is incorrect, it should say 34. The existing is 34.
So
Existing what?
should
The
we just
existing.
mention, I mean, if you want to do it, say, 6 feet variance on the north side
That's right.
of the cottage.
That's a good, yeah.
And 8.3 feet at the southern side of the guest cottage towards, you know, towards front yard. setback.
Three.
It's 8 foot 3.
8 foot 3, not 8.3.
Yeah, 8 foot
Unless
3
the
inches.
survey says
No, you're right,
8.3.
8 foot 3 inches.
So 6 feet.
On the north boundary of the cottage, to the front yard setback, 6 feet. And then at the south,
8.3.
8 foot 3 inches on the
South side?
first.
Oh, these are in inches.
Yeah, for the southerly,
Hang on, because these are in decimals.
Right.
yeah, 8.3 inches for the south
Okay.
front yard setback, south of.
So you can say
8.3
you can say
inches.
0.25.
Thank you. Because it's good to be on the south side.
South side of the guest
Yeah.
house.
Okay, I'm just
Toward
making quick and dirty notes on
Front yard setback, yeah, okay.
And that's front yard. Okay, thanks, John. All right, the change. Going from 1.5 to 2.5. That's.
There's no need for variance.
There's no need for a variance
No.
there.
Because it's 30. It's less than
Still
35.
under.
Right,
Right.
okay.
And it's actually
But
It's only going to be on the inside.
It
So
is,
it is
it is for the
actually-
fact that they're
It's
changing
not a
the
half story, it's
structure.
just- she's-
that they
You're
need
just
the
creating
front
a
yard
full
setback,
story.
Right.
Right.
But
Right.
not so much for
For the
anything
height.
going high.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're raising inside, you're not raising the roof.
We are raising.
They are
raising-
raising
You are
the
raising
roof.
the
roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, it's a cathedral ceiling, we're just
Right.
picking that up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
So-
all right, okay, sorry.
Okay.
You're just reading, here, look at this, it's 20,
So
21 to
that's why that's
24.
fine.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, but raising it
Okay.
3
3 feet.
3 feet or thereabouts, yeah.
Yeah.
35.
Yeah,
But you don't need a variance for that.
Nope.
And then we'll get over.
No, because it's under 35.
Yeah.
okay, there's nothing on the main house.
Nothing on the main house.
Okay.
because
So
Nothing
number,
on the main
number
house.
35 cottage,
Cottage
is-
35.
Is the,
front yard
deck.
setback because the new back porch and the fact that the roof is being raised.
Mhm.
But then again, you don't need one for the roof because it's not
Right.
gonna be 35.
Pardon me?
You don't need one for the roof.
We don't need, right, it's all front yard setback issues. Yeah, both, for both.
So.
And the thing is, the whole lot coverage, is that all considered when you add that one addition in the back, the lot coverage?
Well, yeah, they've got so much land.
Their lot coverage is like
100 square feet?
Yeah.
0.4% or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, here you go, point.
It's
point
like
042 to point 043,
Yeah.
I keep forgetting all that property in the back.
And the river as well.
and the river property, you know, that-
Yeah, the dock.
It actually goes out into the water,
Yes,
the property line.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The dock could be 3 times its size, I believe.
Well,
I
yeah,
think there was
yeah,
an
you look.
option.
There was a lot of oil coming into this part of the world.
Huh?
There was a lot of oil and coal coming in there.
Yeah, there was.
We have.
I do, I don't know exactly,
Okay.
I'd have to look at it again of what
Oh, yeah,
exactly
we're
built
gonna-
tonight.
Is it?
Yeah.
We'll
But-
look,
but
we'll look at it real
in
quick,
fact
without
that-
taking anything out.
You know, what you're doing with,
Yeah,
by
try to
adding
keep
the
that
porch,
part.
you're
No, I'll
not,
just leave it with you, yeah.
you're not increasing the,
It is an enclosed
not-
porch, so it's,
yeah,
so,
yeah.
it's this right here.
Right, but what I'm saying is it's not, I mean, it's in the, look at this better. You're not increasing the encroachment into the setback because it's all in the back.
Mhm.
And it's all in the setback.
It's all in the setback,
all in
right.
the setback.
It's all in the setback, but you can't see it. I mean, this is the most bizarre,
So what variance do you
construction.
need?
Well, but
We need it,
it's
we-
new,
front
it's
yard.
new construction.
It's new construction
It's
in the
new
setback.
construction, and
Right.
whether you
Yeah.
can see it or not, it's not.
Right,
like-
right.
That's an issue.
That's the only issue there is the cottage,
Yeah.
nothing else.
Yeah.
Unlike the
And-
guest house, we're actually increasing the
Per get.
footprint of the building.
Right, and it's,
And the
it's
cottage
new
we're not.
construction.
Right.
yeah.
And I think because it's just a sliver of it that is, of the back porch, the proposed one that's not encroaching within the front yard setback, I just don't, I think we just include the whole front, or the whole back porch.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think, yeah, I think absolutely.
Set it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The fact
So
is,
this-
there
we're
there
still
is
talking
a
35, right?
porch here right now. It's just not enclosed.
It's not enclosed,
So,
right.
and it's
Right.
really filling that same thing, but it's making it interior space.
Right, which
Yeah.
is,
so per your sheet here, cottage 35,
Mhm.
you have existing 5.1, proposed 5.1, allowed is 40, so we have a variance of 34.9 feet is the variance you're requesting.
No.
for which one? Sure, go ahead, talk. Which
So-
cottage?
Yes.
So I'm not sure how you measure,
Well,
how to measure it. So from, the cottage,
it's, you're supposed to have 40 feet, right?
and so I didn't know, so I went from the property line to
The front of the cottage.
the
right?
front of the cottage, since we're raising the roof in the front yard setback, I thought the whole thing would require a variance.
I think the whole thing requires a variance.
So that's why.
Because the whole structure.
I'm just using the numbers that's gonna be in the file.
Right.
And we gotta bake these numbers into the decision so that we're in
So it's-
agreement.
that it
So
right,
it's clear.
34.9.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
It's not.
I don't have an issue with it, I just
Oh, I
gotta
see
get, we
what
gotta
you're
get to
saying.
the right number.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, I
yeah,
just
great,
didn't
great.
know how
So you're giving him-
to measure it.
It's gotta be written
So,
up right.
so is there a variance required for raising the roof?
No.
No, right? Okay, so then it is the case that what we're doing is we're adding this area into the setback.
Right.
So it's from the face of that to the property line, right?
Right.
Rather
And
than,
it's gonna be different on the north and the south side too.
so then these numbers are not right.
Well, 37 feet 5 inches from
what
the
it
property
is.
line to the back.
And
37
and
what?
the addition is 6 feet, so 31 foot.
Would you say 37 and what?
37 foot, 5
Five-
inches.
5 inches.
Okay.
Oh, that's actually marked on.
Yeah, it's measured here.
Okay.
Right.
So
And
37.
5 inches is .416.
Right.
And that's on the north side. Are you gonna have, so you're gonna have two different, are you gonna have two different measurements as to that? Because the back porch.
I'm gonna bring this over here.
No, I can see it. We have it right here.
Well, I was gonna point at something, but, so let's just stick to the north side a second. So it's 37 feet, 5 inches, less 6 feet, right? Because we're actually trying to get it from the east face of the addition, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's 31 foot, 5 inches.
Yeah,
That's on the north side.
that's right.
And that's all within the setback.
I think they're,
But
yeah, go ahead.
the south side, the new
It's further
construction
back.
actually goes
Yeah, because it's
past,
further
so
back.
it's actually outside of the setback, so.
Yeah,
you know,
5
It's not,
inches, so I think.
But also the most easterly portion of the that southerly boundary of the new deck, enclosed deck, that is actually set back further
That's
from the
right.
street
That's
than
right.
the
Yes,
northerly
that's right.
side.
It is
So-
because of the angle.
So this to grant you, based on the northerly measurement, will give you,
is more than conservative,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
That's right. So if we just use that one, then that would do it,
Yeah.
yes.
So, okay, so just make sure.
Yeah, I want to be clear about this too.
Yeah.
So we're asking for a variance of how many feet then?
it would be it'd be 2 feet 7 inches, so.
It's 31, it's 31.5 to the
5,
face.
so it's-
North.
It's 31.5 to the face, eastern face, right?
Mhm.
40 is required,
So you need 31,
so
no,
it would
31.
be.
Why are you saying 31? Where do you
No, I'm
say
saying
31?
31, no, it's 31.5 feet to that,
East face.
To the
In
face.
other words, it's 31, it's 37
8.5, right.
feet here,
8.5.
but
or it's 5 inches, so it's
8 feet,
Got it.
5 inches.
7
I think
inches.
you're going in the right direction, because I think it's 40 minus the 31.5.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
Is
it
difference
0.5 or is it 5
is
inches?
what we're looking for.
Yes.
It
It's
is
5 inches.
5 inches, so
Okay.
it's .416666667.
I flunked math, so I didn't.
Well, I did it on my phone.
Yeah, well,
Why we have to have two systems,
yeah,
I have no idea.
We're using this measurement,
Right.
which is to the back.
Right, exactly.
And we're taking 6 from that.
That's right.
And then that leaves us,
That's right, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
30,
'cause
31.5.
They marched it off the bat.
Yeah.
And then,
He's
so
40.
that would be
8.5.
8,
It's
is
7.
5.
And is the
7.
measurement, is it proper when you're adding something to the back of a
31.5 plus
structure
8.5 equals 40.
to measure it from the beginning of that new
Five and
item?
5 is 10.
Or from the
it's not
front of the
foot.
structure? I don't
We got
understand.
it, so it's 7, that's what I'm
You
saying,
know,
7.
So,
I don't know, why would you
And then-
measure it from here
Then you want to
when you?
convert
you're
7
still-
inches to feet?
I just don't get
That
it.
would be a good idea.
What do you?
Oh, the hell knows.
It's where
Yeah.
you see it, right? You subtract out the 6 from
Anyway,
37.
proposed
So
addition is here.
.583 is 7 inches.
Yeah, yeah, so
There.
I just want to make sure I understand this. So,
Increasing.
welcome to
I
our
just-
world.
we just want to make sure we
From
dot
whatever
our
it is
i's,
to
we're all in
37.5.
agreement, just in case somebody
That's right.
says.
And from
What
whatever
were
it
they
is to
thinking?
the-
Mm.
Right.
Minutia, just want to get the minutia correct.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, eastern face, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 7 inches. So it's
Yeah.
8 feet, 7
You get that
inches.
much more, yeah.
Which
That's
just
right.
translates
That's what
to
it is.
8.584.
Yeah, so
And
that's
the
the
house,
variance
yeah.
you're requesting is.
There's no way, there's no way with this,
Right.
if you're gonna get even,
Short
Right.
version for right now, 8 feet, 7
Right.
inches.
unless you make this 8 feet.
Yeah.
And the 6 feet anyway.
Yeah.
No other way to
Right,
do
yeah,
it.
that's,
So that's, you know, it's minor. You don't need nothing here. You go from there, you don't need nothing there.
8 feet from the back of the shop.
And I don't,
Well,
We good?
we're good.
Very good? It's just getting the right numbers.
Yeah.
That's the,
Yeah,
you
it's
gotta get
just
the right numbers.
the right numbers, and that we're all looking at it. All
and
we're
then,
taking
and
it
how
from
about
the-
and then the arbor, is that, we have to,
Nothing.
Nothing.
It's covered.
all right,
If it was covered, then that's.
right, yeah, it's an issue, right?
Right.
But it's not
It's
covered.
Now,
not
are
meant
we-
to be
are we-
habitable at all.
Right,
It's
yeah.
a garden structure.
Right, I understand.
Yeah.
Got all this
We're
thing?
gonna be
Didn't
doing
we
the
have,
same.
to with
Yeah.
2 Depot Square, didn't we have to, why did we
You get what I'm saying?
deal with the, oh, it was a
We didn't.
pergola, it was a,
But we didn't add it to the lot coverage.
Oh,
We
that's
did-
right.
We did add it to the setback, but we didn't.
because it had a roof. That's why we added
If
it.
it has a
to
roof
It
and it's
didn't.
got
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
permanently in the
I'm
ground.
out of practice.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Have a roof and it's
And that's
permanently.
basically the
Right.
last decision we made
Yeah, I know.
in November.
Yeah, I know, it's a long time ago, so I'm forgetting.
We're out of practice here.
Yeah, out of
What can I
practice.
say?
I agree.
Oh.
For the whole, so we're not just we shouldn't just be
Think
granting
about
6
when
foot.
That's what I'm
the
thinking.
code update is finally completed,
That's
we'll
what I'm
have that so many fewer
Now,
applications.
Can I mention one thing?
yes, absolutely.
I don't think so. There's already
You
stuff
mentioned
going on that
multiple
I don't know about.
The reason why we're seeking
Talked
the
to them
variance
yesterday about it.
on the guest house is the raising of the
Should
roof.
be, well, if they get rid of it, they change the setbacks, there's nonsense going on. All right.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, so we're also raising the roof on the cottage.
Yes.
So because we're just altering that building, even though we're not expanding the footprint or anything like that, apart from the deck off the back, because it's enclosed,
Mhm.
the deck's pre-existing. But that since the height of the roof for the cottage as a whole is being altered, it's the same grounds by which we were working a front yard variance there. So I think the front yard variance comes off the front of the building, doesn't it? In this case, because, I mean, as far as the cottage is concerned?
Because you're changing the roof height.
Yeah.
So we don't have to deal with the back porch at all.
Well, this is what I was
Yeah, that's what I was
saying
asking
initially.
too.
I mean,
I think don't we need a variance for the entirety of the building plus
that's,
new construction?
Right.
right,
Right.
Yeah.
that's what initially was my understanding, but I was.
And, you know, that's the more conservative approach. That if we grant, if we grant
You don't
that
want,
variance, we've granted the most conservative and not the most, in other words, it's the tightest, the hardest, the largest. If we grant that, we've done our due diligence on the worst case scenario.
It also
So in other
responds
words-
to the denial.
it also responds to
Responds to
denial
denial.
more completely.
Yeah.
Oh,
But there's-
see the denial.
But it, yeah, here we go. That's what we just pulled out of the file. I mean, we had looked at that before, but, see, that was my understanding going in, but once you guys were discussing this other end of things, I don't wait to let that play out, just to
Right.
listen to it, but.
So.
Really entirely in the setback, yeah, we gotta.
So, actually what they have in the conformance,
So take a look at this.
What they have in the conformance is what you want, what is responding to that.
Yeah.
Paul, if you would show us on there, at what point is that cottage being altered?
So it's this is the area of the roof being altered,
Okay,
not down here.
yeah, so what is the
These are-
distance of
so-
that from the front
Yeah, that's what I
yard?
don't think, I'm not doing all that I found
This
from here.
is the 16th, we can measure it.
What part of it, I can't see.
But if we knew
Yeah.
what the length of the cottage is.
Which part of the roof is being altered?
This area here, so I'm gonna,
So it extends further into the front, you know, it's closer to the
Oh, right in
road.
the front,
right.
but,
So that's, we're raising that 2 feet.
right
It's the
here.
same, it's the same, virtually the
Right
same
here?
height difference that you're doing on
I'm
the
trying to-
guest house.
This area
2'9"
here.
on the guest house,
This
2
area.
foot on the
That's right,
cottage.
so if you did this, that's right, so
That's the only
this
thing.
area here.
That's,
What's your
okay,
take
that's
on
the
that?
area
That's-
that's being
yeah.
raised.
not the like
I
front
think
porch.
we
No, those,
No.
that's right, the front porch is staying.
Is staying.
The
but
side
it's-
wings
but
are
it's-
staying.
It's staying, but it's everything behind that,
That's right.
that is changing. And so is that 5'1" that's on your conformance,
Great.
is that to the face of the house, or is that to the porch?
That is to the face, that's to the part that extends to the front most. So it's not the roof overhang, but the front of the building. And I think I took it from the center because, the property line undulates.
Right.
Yeah, so
I
you're not
think-
affecting what looks to be a front porch there. It's not.
No, it would be to here.
That's
To the
correct.
face.
The straight line.
So what's the difference, how deep is that porch?
Off the front yard, off the,
This is 3.2 feet?
Okay, so we know what it is to the back of the main house, which is the 30. Right?
37 feet 5
Okay,
inches.
and this is 20, the cottage is 24 feet long. So 37 minus 24.
13?
So it's 13 feet back. So 13 minus 40, now we have
27.
27. Right?
yeah, no, there's no question. Don't worry about this, Greg. I mean, it's important that we get this down. you
No, I know, but I'm
I
just
think
trying to.
we're gonna have.
I'm the one that has to write the decision.
I know, we'll do it, we'll get it done. I think what we'll do is we get variance points from the north side, because it looks like there's a curvature along that front yard setback. So, I mean, we could either do the the maximum setback, which would be measured from the south, and work with it that way, or we can take the northerly boundary wall of the cottage, get that setback from the front.
Well, we have that measurement. He knows the building is 24 long. We know the setback, or to the back of the building is 37. And that includes the new porch, right,
Yes,
Paul?
it
Yes.
Yeah.
37
0.5.
does not, yes, it does.
It does include the
Yeah.
porch, Paul.
Oh, so then we need to take off the whole thing.
Make sure that the variance is laid
I mean, it's-
such that this distance is further.
So 37
less of a variance would be
minus.
from there is to this point, the curve. Otherwise, you just grant
Here's the total.
one variance
So
of
35
more
minus.
of this, which will cover that.
So in that case, we're taking out 30 feet.
Keep it simple, and I would grant the largest variance in the for the whole building.
Yeah, so we
They're
take it
not
right to the
7
north.
inches.
They're not gonna change the angles, it's gonna be no
So-
green.
You just grant it, so measure it from here, that's it, from the
That's-
north side, and grant the largest variance.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Paul, we were thinking, just measuring it from the north wall
Mhm.
to the road,
Right.
which would
To
give
the
you,
property line.
then that would give you the biggest variance
Right.
for the front yard, or for that building.
Okay.
This
Yeah,
this
okay,
portion.
that's, yeah,
Rather
okay,
than-
yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Also, once we get these numbers down, we do have public hearing. If they want to make comment, they can. Didn't need to.
And Greg, one other thing, Aaron had pointed out, with regards to the pergola within the setback area, we would probably put the conditioning language like we did the last time, not enclosing it. Just because-
Yeah,
The arbor, yeah.
what I had written in the last decision.
That's right.
Basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But only for any portion of the
That
pergola
was
that's within the
the
setback,
setback.
front yard setback.
The arbor, yeah, the arbor, not the pergola. Anyway.
So, because it's involving several steps, if we get someone to check this, but
Sure.
that comes down to 33.147
For the.
for the variance.
Variance.
Right,
Well,
so,
the
so
front
this,
yard.
this is the logic, is that from the property line to the back of the extension, we understand is 37'5", which is 37.416. And we know that the length of the cottage from the east wall to the back of that addition is 30.563, 30 foot 7 inches. So the difference there is 6.853 feet, and that's what we're going to subtract from the 40 feet to get the
variance.
variance.
Right.
For the front yard variance on
So does that make
the
sense?
cottage.
So the front yard variance is 31.417.
So in other words, we're saying that the distance from that northeast corner of the cottage to the property line and a straight line out is the 6.853.
6.853 is the
Right.
distance from, okay.
That's existing.
Yes.
And you've done that by your measurements here with regards, how did you took the length of the building, right?
So I took
Or
from the
back. I
from the
heard
back of the addition
Right.
to the face of the cottage.
Oh, I see
now.
how you're marking it off.
So I
Yes,
measured there.
that's right.
That's what I measured as a total.
Gotcha. So you're working off your diagram there, the structure.
So, yeah, this is to scale.
Yeah. Okay. So subtract that off of 40.
Yeah. So
Subtract that off.
this is, in other words, this is the variance, this was existing, this is what's required.
So more or less. Near done. This is the actual variance right here.
Yeah, okay. I think I misheard.
All right.
Yeah.
You got it right, you got it, 147.
No, I had 471.
No, we selected 147.
No, I had 417.
Oh, okay. Transpose.
Transpose.
Okay.
Keep checking me, Joe.
We agree on the number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the variance requested is 33 feet, 33.147 feet out of a required 40. The existing is 6.853.
Now, so we're going to incorporate, again, the language with regards to the arbor, just the portion of the arbor that's within the front yard setback, which is simply conditioning that you don't use the arbor, eventually enclosing it in any manner, making it into a structure. That's what it is. All right. Anything else? All right.
Mike, do you have any comments, concerns?
Well, I'm here, I'm president of the Chapel Restoration, and there are
Right.
two concerns or interests. I wouldn't call them concerns, I'll call them interests. One is the change in the the view to the north of the chapel. From what I've heard, it appears that that's fairly minor. It appears that there's been an increase in height of one of the buildings visible from the chapel by a couple of feet. Sounds like it's fairly minor. Is that my understanding?
Yeah,
Right.
and
I'm not sure how much. We took photographs from the chapel.
As far as the
the
visibility.
photos of visibility.
Are there photos there? Good.
Yeah. So,
Here's from, this is from the,
so I went up,
Chapel
I
restoration.
walked all the way up the
this is up
walkway.
above, so,
So the
is this,
changes-
this isn't it either, right? You can't actually see it through the tree.
Right, it sounds like it's fairly, that's
I mean, here you can't see it at all.
It's-
Here, but this is the house across the street.
Between the rock outcropping, and the trees, it's really quite hidden.
So it doesn't appear that it's any kind of a significant intrusion. The second interest that we have is the preservation of the possibility of a walkway. I know it was dismissed a few minutes ago, that is the sidewalk on the west side of Market Street. The problem is that there is very poor wheelchair access from Metro North. There's the steps at the northern end of the west side of the tracks, which means you can't roll a wheelchair from the west side of the tracks to the river, and not easily. You have to come down into the parking lot and then go up the hill, up Market Street. The problem is, when you get to the top of that hill, if you've ever stood at the top of that hill, try to picture yourself crossing that in a wheelchair. It's almost impossible. It's this very large intersection,
Mhm.
very awkward, very dangerous. So the chapel actually negotiated easements with the village to preserve the right of putting a sidewalk in front, on the west side of Market Street, in front of between the chapel and Market Street, that would go from the scenic Hudson Park, the kayak park, up on the west side of Market Street, up the hill, and connect with New Street. And I understand the point about needing to cross the driveway. It sounds like, though, there is nothing in this proposal that would obviate the possibility of having such a sidewalk. There's nothing in terms of the placement of the buildings that's being done that would make that impossible. I think that at some point, as the traffic to the village increases, it will become more apparent to more people that this is a problem that needs to be addressed. In particular, if the path to Fjord Trail is through Dockside, where more people will go from Metro North on the, I'll call it the west side of the railroad, up to the
Up to Main
Breakneck
Street,
area, right,
yeah.
up to the Breakneck area. So I would, that my most significant concern would be that there's nothing to be done here that would eliminate the possibility of having a sidewalk there. I realize people saying, well, you can't reduce the sidewalk, there isn't enough room there. I think that's an illusion. I think if you look at that space, you realize that there's something like 10 or 12 feet of village land on the west side of Market Street that has the appearance, at one time, there was a fence that was on that village land. It has the appearance of being private land, but in fact is public land. That's public land. And then there are whole right-of-way methods to establish sidewalks. So at any rate, that was my concern. From what I heard, I didn't hear anything that would make that an impossibility in the easements that you're, or in the change, in the variances that you're seeking. So I have no objection to the variances that are being sought.
Did you want conditional language put in, with that front yard variance with regards to, they have to be amenable to allowing sidewalks going in there eventually?
We would not be able to
Fight it?
Well, we wouldn't be able to condone that, because we can't, we're not here to speak on that aspect.
No, that's something you have
For the owner, that's
an issue with the village.
yeah, that's
It is
not,
an issue.
that's not really, that's
But
not
that
something to be
doesn't-
addressed here, or to encumber this variance.
Well, that's not for us. Well,
Right.
Yeah, but that-
That's
I
not
don't-
part of this discussion.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
not part of
think
what the
that's-
building inspector referred us to here.
That's
about.
what-
It is not
that's
part of
something we
this.
should
I'm
even-
not,
I
I'm not
understand that
looking,
point.
I'm
I
not
understand
looking,
that point.
I'm not looking for that, but I think that would be an issue that would be adjudicated
So-
at a later point. I don't know that there's anything that can be done. And I don't know that it would be appropriate to make a change in this variance. The only concern I would have is if this variance, by granting this variance, it would make it impossible to have a sidewalk, then I would have a concern that I would express and have that on the
well, then
record.
actually, when I think about it, it wouldn't make it impossible, because the
Right.
village can do with its land what it wishes to do with its land.
Exactly.
And tell the
Right.
property owner
But you also have
what
to
they
look-
need to accomplish.
That house is up higher, it's not road level.
Right.
It's
Cottage.
6, 7 feet high.
It's the garage. It's the.
And it's the garage,
It's the
but you
garage
can't-
is the issue that.
Right.
But we're
And
not
the owner-
asking for
Yeah.
a variance for
No,
that.
we can't, that's
Yeah,
something
we're
we
asking
can't.
for a variance for the garage
I
anyway.
didn't
No.
hear anything in the discussion, it was a little hard to follow because I'm not that familiar with but I didn't hear anything in the discussion that suggested that it would make it impossible to have a sidewalk on the west side of Market Street. And that is fine, that's fine with me. That's all.
But you did obtain easements you're mentioning.
We obtained in that the village was seeking easements from the chapel because of the work on the pump station. And as a condition of that, and we also asked Scenic Hudson to also obtain easements, that is rights to have that sidewalk in there. So I'm using that by way of example of, it's important to not just our organization, but to Scenic Hudson, and I think it would be important to the village at some point. I'm trying to put this in a context to show value there, that it would be important to the village to have that opportunity to have a sidewalk on the west side of Market Street.
Well, that's gonna be something, the garage is gonna have to be something that they're gonna have to negotiate down the road with the homeowner. That would,
The garage is also, you're not even talking about, the footprint of the garage is staying the same, and if you want to, your only concern is that the driveway that exists now not interfere with the sidewalk that you might
Possibly
eventually,
go
that might
in.
eventually be built.
That there's nothing in the variance that's being
Right, he's not talking about it,
granted
right.
that affects
Right.
the opportunity at some future date of putting in a sidewalk.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything
Yeah.
to that effect. I'm completely satisfied that this is fine.
But in the end run, we're here for a limited purpose, I guess,
Yeah.
just
Mhm.
answering the denial.
Right.
And again, the village is within its own powers to do what it needs to do with regards to
Right.
easements. Going forward, regardless of what we, really grant.
Okay, so,
Anybody else? Anybody else? Before we close the hearing.
okay. So at this point, if you feel that there's nothing that you need to add in terms of supporting your case, and Mike, if you feel that there's no additional comment from the public, does somebody want to move that we close the public hearing?
I move that we close the public hearing.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public hearing is closed. All right, I'm going to essentially ad-lib this decision. Usually I try to get these roughed out. So basically, we have three elements in front of us. Two different buildings with front yard setbacks, and then the third element being the arbor, not necessarily a variance, but a comment within the decision that the arbor would be an open structure with no walls of any kind, if I think I remember that
Right.
verbiage correctly.
And no roof either.
No roof, thank you. Thanks. All right, so with that, basically those three variances, let's quickly go through the criteria. So it would be, again, I'm just going to quickly restate the variances. For the guest house, it would be a front yard setback with, from an existing 34 and 31 foot frontage with a request for a 6 foot and an 8.25 feet variance. That's for the guest house. For the cottage, from the required 40, the variance requested is 33.147 feet from an existing 6.853 feet. And then the arbor will be built, our concerns are within the setbacks, that the arbors have no sides of any kinds and no roof of any kind. Did cross-hatching beams, did we?
We didn't specify that.
We didn't
before.
specify.
We just said it had to match the plans we were showing.
Okay. So, this benefit sought by the applicant can or cannot be achieved by any other feasible means.
Not really.
I say it can't be because they're really working with the footprints of the older.
Within the footprint.
within
The
the
old
structure,
structure,
right, apart from the enclosed deck, but that's still
Right.
working off the same.
Same footprint.
Within the footprint of existing buildings. And I'll go into details for each building for that comment.
And there's no other way to increase the height of the space inside. Unless, of course, they were to dig down.
All right. Number 2. No, I know these will be out of order. Elliot, I'm sorry. The proposed application will or will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood.
Will not.
Will not.
Will not. Most changes are small
Not visible from the street.
and not visible from the street. I'll elaborate a little more in terms of like cottages. I didn't even know it existed back there, I'll be honest.
What's that?
The cottage. I probably have
No,
seen it.
I always saw the garage, and
The
I
guest
assumed
house
that
behind
when
it?
it was,
The
when it
guest
was
house.
made, it had.
The guest house, sorry, the guest house.
That
right.
used to be the office.
Yeah.
Used to come out, they used to park the trucks, walk up the stairs, and go right into the office.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. The variance requested are or are not substantial?
Or not?
Not substantial.
Well, wait a minute, hold on a
Well,
second.
I'm gonna say the one
Yeah,
is,
the reason-
I would think
right.
one is substantial, one is not. I mean,
Well, what-
Well, you know, you would.
one is we're requesting 35 feet, 31
No.
feet.
Oh, yeah.
You know what, you could say this way, while it's substantial on one of them, there was a
Mhm.
pre-existing structure.
Right, right,
And it's not
built-
visible.
right. Yeah.
No one will see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we do have to state,
Okay.
that is a substantial,
Substantial, okay.
that is a substantial, I mean, you know, because
Means
No.
substantial is.
somebody will go back and say, what do you mean 31 feet is substantial?
Yeah, substantial, but.
No, the
But,
the
and
garage
it's,
is
it's
against
the
council
butts,
findings.
the butts okay,
The garage is not.
so to speak.
The guest house.
I think it's 67 feet.
The other request is
So
not
granted,
substantial.
Yep.
Is that that?
Mhm.
Yeah, to raise them.
Yeah,
But not for the whole garage?
Yep.
uh, the proposed variance will or will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood.
Will not.
And just,
Again, it's the same footprint, so
Yeah.
even with.
Same
with
footprint.
rain
Thank
runoff
you.
or whatever, it'll all be the same.
same footprint,
And again, it's not
No.
visible from the street.
no additional coverage,
Right.
right? Okay, is that a fair statement?
Yep.
Coverage?
Because even the arbor is not covered.
Right, and not,
Except for what there is additional coverage to the extent that the back porch is being
Yeah.
enclosed, so.
But that's not visible from the street.
But for an environmental runoff.
Environmental.
yeah, but it's
with-
minimal, right?
Yeah, minimal compared to the property as a
Yeah,
whole.
as a whole.
The
Okay.
property is massive.
The alleged difficulty
Necessitates.
thank you, the variance was self-created, or was not self-created and is not sufficient as to cause a denial.
It was not self-created because the structures were already situated where they were. And they're just ready-
Pre-existing.
Yeah,
Okay.
Pre-existing.
including the back porch, which is just being enclosed.
Okay. In balance, after a detailed review of each of the variances, I will put in details there, the board finds that it is granting the minimum variances necessary to complete this project with full support of the neighbors of the proposed project, the minimal change, no change in footprint. In footprint, the aesthetic improvement of the current building, wanted granted, yeah, okay. So basically, I mean, in balance, These are, it's not visible, there's no change, I mean.
There's no aesthetic.
No,
I-
aesthetic
I'm gonna say,
change.
what, I think we essentially 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, 4.5 out of 5 is.
4.5 out of 5 in terms of.
Yeah.
But not only, yeah, that, I would say that, and in addition, the property is so sizable that it is not, you know, any change would not be affecting neighboring properties as much as if it was in the middle of the village. I mean, the property's massive.
Yeah.
So you could put it in a balance that the improvements are just the small, what are, how much land area do this improvements cover?
0.04%. Point,
Yeah, the land
Yeah,
coverage
so
is.
you could put that down.
It's 0.042 to 0.043. It's not, it's a thousandth of a percentage point.
So, I mean, that is a big factor that we don't see with many of the other properties.
yeah. Okay. So in balance of basically what we discussed, can somebody make a motion? And this was stated in the positive that we would grant the variance. Would somebody make a motion to accept?
I move that we accept that we grant these, grant the variances on the basis of what you've outlined in this discussion.
Okay, second?
Second it?
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Yes.
Unanimous.
Me.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Painless or what?
Except for the little math, it was fine.
Yeah, we always have a little struggle here, you know, it wouldn't be the same.
A lot of work, drawings.
It's funny
Yeah.
how the chance to go through.
And I just hope that the building don't have any other issues.
We do too.
Yeah.
I think if your house burns down, maybe it's not that creative, maybe
That's true.
not that it would change anything.
This is a rare one.
If you've got a,
Oh, he's good.
you know, an enormous.
Can I have the extra conformance and surveys?
It's working with.
Unless you want to keep them.
No, here's the survey.
Did not heal by doing the minimally invasive thing. They did a minimally invasive.
I'll give you all my
procedure
stuff from
that
last
failed.
year.
So we ended up having, major thoracic surgery.
So that,
This is
the big fat thing is the previous.
Yeah, this is-
Yeah, just leave that down there and I'll pick it up at the end to get cost. I'm trying not to do versions, if you know what I
I
mean.
spent 2 nights in the chair.
That's good.
Call me back during that.
That's good.
He lived in the city, and that's where he found a doctor, called me vegetarian to see him, and that's where she was at, either that.
Was there any other matters?
Yes, we got
Fine,
workshops
but
for a while.
horrendous for him.
How old is he?
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was his first time.
But they're just,
This is something that happened. Skinny
I wrote
guys.
those, so.
Okay.
Because of the
I
way
don't
they
know,
grow.
Should we sit down there, Tim, or?
Imperfections.
Well, let's have him present it
See you
here.
Sunday.
So long.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pat.
What Sunday?
Soccer.
Oh.
Saturday,
Funny,
Saturday.
so-
Okay.
Okay.
Give us 2 seconds, Teresa.
And I mean, I went to that maybe Saturday,
Oh, yeah?
one Saturday, we were coaching.
So,
Do you want to take that home?
No, I don't
Yeah.
want it.
Points you brought
No,
up.
I really don't need it.
10 o'clock in the morning.
What?
Yeah.
I was just walking a block down there.
Oh, my God.
And it's really awkward, if you start
Oh,
on Main,
God.
first you're on one side, then you have to switch to the other side, and then you have to switch back.
Well, you
And of course, there's no money to put in the sidewalk there, but you wouldn't want to make it
I don't know what
impossible
time,
in the future.
and then when I come back Sunday, my grandson, I was gonna have soccer.
Thanks, John.
So I'd come back on Sunday, I jumped in the car on Sunday, going over to soccer.
So, I brought up the thing just to see what the response would be on the conditional
Oh, yeah?
language. And, because I hadn't fully thought it out, but I wanted to get the thing prompted. But, you know, I knew the answer was that the village will do whatever it's gonna want to do, you know.
Played soccer all winter.
So,
Yeah.
So he asked me if
No,
he wanted to go to soccer camp.
I think that if
So
they said
my
we're gonna raise the
daughter-in-law
floor of the garage up by 5 feet,
still has
Yeah.
family
we build
over
it
there.
really steep.
Great.
So they're gonna, and her
and
mother's
down,
going.
and we're gonna go.
Oh, if they, yes, right, I hear you.
10 days, 7 or 10 days soccer.
But the thing is
no
Oh, that's
matter
great.
what we grant,
I know quite a bit of, when I've lived in Italy.
no matter what we grant,
Now,
the village
now
can do
30 plus
something
years
with
ago.
All right, or-
with regards to its land.
A year and a half. And
All right.
I still love
Regardless of whether
Ramsbury.
we grant it.
Well, I'm gonna try to get over it, 'cause I have, we still have cousins in, the library area.
Well,
So we had them over 3 years.
No, we put them on notice.
All right.
Okay.
Notice the sidewalk.
I just want to take a
And it's
quick
here.
moment here.
And they decide.
We have a new recording admin, and that's Thomas Calfano.
Hey, come
Nice
on.
to meet you.
To make it official, he's here. And he's being very helpful.